In Can't Please Everyone news,
Ain't that the truth?
submitted by Life by the Balls, a group of protesters wants to stop sex education in primary and secondary schools.
I agree.
Really?
Wants to stop or start?
Stop.
Teach abstinence instead.
Oh no.
I didn't know they were talking about fucking in primary school.
Me too.
All right, kids, you want to color the sun and the penis the color of your choice. I didn't think that was appropriate at all.
I would do a blue sun with a black dick.
I would do a blue dick with a black sun.
Would have been friends?
Yeah.
Why can't be a black dick though, Steve?
Oh, I'm just not into those. I tried watching
I
those.
love your honesty. I love the honesty.
I tried watching it.
So this is happening
tried.
in Birmingham.
Of course it is.
Alabama.
No. In the UK.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Birmingham.
Birmingham. So there are these leaflets, these flyers that are being passed around. They look like this, and I will read it to you.
Does it go, here, hey, Harry?
Hear ye, hear.
Harry.
All right, so it says, attention parents, RSE is coming to your child's school. And RSE means relationships and sex education. So it says, under the current sex education policy, we have seen the UK claim the prize for the highest number of teenage pregnancies in Europe, STIs in UK teenagers at epidemic levels, parentheses, and many of these STIs are incurable, and an alarming increase in child-on-child sexual assaults. Rather than dealing with any of these issues, the new relationships and sex education curriculum will promote transgenderism and homosexual lifestyles to your child. The LGBT message in this new curriculum hijacks and potentially perverts the course of natural child development. For example, children of primary school age are generally friends with members of the same sex. If a young girl loves her BFF, same-sex friend, the message could be utterly, erroneously, you are gay. Children will be told, you can be a girl or a boy. This can be very distressing for a child. To accommodate gender dysphoria, which affects only a tiny fraction of 1% of the population, RSE teaching will potentially traumatize millions of children. Children in infant school will be encouraged to masturbate. First sexual experiences will be encouraged by the age of 12, which is illegal. No moral framework will be offered for any of this behavior. The RSE curriculum is ill-advised, confusing, and unhelpful. It will prematurely sexualize children. It is far too much, too young. You, as primary educators of your child, are best positioned to decide how and when these subjects should be approached, not the state. Not happy? Take action.
Even when I was a kid, I wasn't trying to fuck kids. I was still trying to fuck adults. I was like 12 and 13, like, I can't wait till this woman likes me.
I don't know who said that somebody needs to have their first sexual encounter by the age of 12.
That's ridiculous. That's way
Where
too
are they
young.
getting this information from? Was there like a leaked curriculum?
So they're claiming that the government wants schools to include teaching these things, right? But apparently they're saying that they want to include teaching about things like single parents, adoption, and same-sex relationships. But the government did say that it will be up to individual schools to decide what is age appropriate. And so this flyer here have been making headlines because they're incorrectly saying that the curriculum is going to encourage kids to masturbate and...
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Is that completely untrue though? 100%?
Sounds crazy.
Well, I don't think anybody can enforce somebody to masturbate.
I wish someone taught me how to masturbate correctly.
Me too.
Because school, though, it teaches, at least when I went, it teaches you just about the anatomy and things that are happening, not about like how to pleasure yourself and what to get from that.
Right.
So it's a very biology approach.
Do you think they should add that component?
No, not in school. I don't think so. I just think I needed to know like safe sex.
But what about this? So I recently read that there is a wrong way to masturbate. Like for guys, they can actually do what I read this thing that they call the death grip, and when you
Yeah, it's like when you
when
jack
you
off like
jack
this.
off with your like squeezing the shit out of your dick, and you actually break the nerves and the nerve endings of your the tip of your penis. So that is like safe.
But don't you learn that real quick? Like you do it, you're like, oh fuck,
If
okay.
you do that one stroke, you should pretty. I mean, if you're
No,
If you keep doing it, it's natural selection. You shouldn't breathe.
No, so they were saying that like, you know, eventually like you end up tightening the grip and you don't realize, and it just feels good, and then that's also not good for your sex life later on. Like if you start this as a kid and then later on when you are having sex, a vagina is not that tight, just like how for
So
girls.
then should they teach you then that like if you're sitting on top of a guy and riding him, if you move the wrong way, you're gonna twist his dick and it might hurt
I
him?
wish my teacher-
Like that shit I would not want to hear.
I honestly, for me, I think the important thing that I wish they taught was having a healthy sexual relationship with a partner and yourself, and these would be like.
I think that's like university level
and I think
conversation.
these would, and I think these would
I don't
be.
think it's high school.
And I think
or,
these would be
Yeah.
components to it, and I think it's important because, or else you're gonna have like 6 years. You're gonna have 6 years of fucked upness
Yeah.
with yourself and your partner until
Yeah.
it gets corrected.
I think that's university level.
Where you, but what I'm saying is, I should know it's funny, huh? And then, but if you can start early, you don't have to wait 6 years until you get to the university where it gets fucked up.
No, because like your mind, like your mind is still developing at that age while you're in high school. You know what I mean? Like your thinking skills, the logic, all that stuff it's not fully formed yet.
Yeah, I agree. It should be like a college information thing.
What
like
about
that's
hormones?
like too detailed, too
But why, though?
specific.
What about hormone therapy though?
What's that mean?
Well, like some people are like, hey, I'm a boy physically, but I feel like I'm a girl, and I want to transform my body into a girl, and I'm young. Say that they're like not fully developed yet, like you said. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think about doing that?
I would still wait. Wait. The same way if a girl is like, hey, I want to get boob implants because I don't like these yet, you know? Or like shit like that. I would
Wait
say
till
like
what
still
age?
still wait till like you're at least at a university level.
So
you know?
18 or 21?
I would prefer 21, but I guess 18 is a legal age for whatever
Because
reason.
what if like having a traumatic experience from 12 to like 18 is what causes people to have a really bad relationship with sex, like later on when they when that could have been when
mean,
that
that's what
could have
they're-
been
Isn't that-
when
yeah.
that could have been fixed. Well, instead of a more a preventative measure.
Yes.
So instead of fucking people up on purpose, let's fix it early.
Well, hold on, because then you're getting into this really gray, like what's happening right now with society, where everyone's like so quick to cancel everything and like so quick to get offended for everything. Like there's a line that like I feel like shouldn't get crossed.
What's the line come out?
That's the difficult
Well, like,
thing is
leaving
determining the line.
Exactly, but I guess for us, it's leaving that conversation for a more college age level.
Yeah,
if an educator's
Because for
telling
me,
you
I'm trying to
about
think back at my age when I was in high school, and if I was like being told all these things, I'm just gonna get a bunch of ideas.
which is awesome.
I think that they should
Formative.
take a poll to see at what is the most, take a poll to find the mean at the most common age of kids are having sex and send home the information with the parents or to
That
the
is
parents
cool.
so the parents
I
can
like
have
that.
that conversation, and then whatever
That's
they
what
have
these parents are
questions
saying.
from and they're not comfortable taking it to the parents, they can go talk to the guidance counselor or the counselor.
And each community and each school is different too, because some communities are way more like sheltered and stuff. So
Yeah.
if you educate them, they might be giving this information to them when you could have preserved their innocence, right? Versus other schools, it's like these kids already know this shit.
Yeah.
You might as well guide them the right way.
Right, but even
That's
still,
true, too.
even still with that, like that school is in a community, and that school may be privileged, and that school may be pristine and be able to block stuff from the outside. But when the kids get on the outside, they're still gonna be exposed to. They still got the internet. They still got cousins and friends that are already fucking. So at least if they have the information and they can be equipped with, I think the schools teaching tolerance about different genders and gender acceptance is great. I think something more personal about who they want to be and who they want to grow up with, and then also fucking should be something that the parents should at least
Yeah.
explain, like
I'm with
you know,
that.
to
Yeah.
that. So at least they have that base with it.
Yeah, or even
Like I only fuck people that I can see myself being with, and if you decide
That's why for me, the earlier the better. Like if you know that at this age they're getting exposed to this, like even with video
I see.
games, even with video games, for example, right? There's like crazy like violent games like Call of Duty or whatever. if you know the age is 13, they need to start teaching that this violence also isn't okay. It's just a video game or just having fun, and it needs to go in accordance with the way they're being exposed to it versus having 6 years of crazy violent ass games, and then finally when they're 21, oh, did you know Call of Duty is not real and you can't just go and blast people on the streets? I think that's too late. I think everything needs to go at the same time.
Abstinence education works. Not teaching kids about fucking
Stupid.
actually is the best thing.
We should wait till they're 35 maybe.
Way later in life, I think. Maybe even later than that.
And the crazy shit about that is, the craziest to me is that when something is pornographic or has any nudity, they automatically label it as rated R. But you can shoot somebody in the face, as long as there's no blood, it can still be PG-13 or
That's
PG.
wild.
Yeah.
But you're more likely to see some titties and a dick before you see somebody walk. Well, I was gonna say before you see somebody walk into school with an M16 or walk in a supermarket with an M16. But
Yeah,
the
times
way
are different now.
it's been going, it's completely different. But even still with that, like even with like a Born Identity or a James Bond, you're more likely to see sex and encounter sex than you will like just for the most part random violence. So I feel like if they're old enough to be exposed to that, if you're okay with them seeing a movie where a dude is shooting 36 people and walking in and saving the town and all that, then you should be okay with at least hinting to the conversation of sex. And then like you don't have to have the whole conversation that night, but you can like tell them the differences between men and women, or transgender and all of that type of stuff, just so they have the base and then you can build on that as you see fit. But
Dude, James Bond will walk into a room and mow down 35 dudes, but then he lays on top of a chick and just like slithers around on her. They don't even show anything. What's with that shit?
That's why I keep saying you need to integrate porno with great film work.
It'd be tight.
Just show everything.
He's James Bond like lays on a chick and then he acts like a sea turtle burying the baby's eggs, you know? Like it's like
I hate when movies like someone said I hate the movies, but like the no condom use. Like yo, wrap that shit up. James Bond be fucking these chicks with no condom on the first night. Like my dude, you a double agent. You're not immune to HIV.
but make it look cool. How do you make it look cool? James Bond with a condom wrapper. He's like,
Make it look cool by having her put it on.
God damn it.
Like,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, right.
She puts it in her mouth.
Porn now.
And I mean, you don't have to say it. He just tosses it to her. She was like, she bites it. And then you see her doing this, but you see her arms like, right?
Oh, I pictured her going like,
Cause there's nothing sexy about a guy stopping and putting it on. But if she puts it on, like then it's kind of hot, right? Yeah. So there you go. You're welcome.
She puts it on a gun and shoots it as
Oh my
dick.
god.
A condom gun.
Condom gun,
Then we would probably see it.
right? And he's like, hold on, and then she's like, boop, and he's like,
Oh, somebody's a one-shot hot shot.
Totally a fucking line from a James Bond movie.